The rain hit the car window like tiny rocks. Marcus Bennett held the steering wheel tight, his face angry and tired. The big meeting at work had gone very badly. Hello family, welcome back. Please take a moment to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. It truly means a lot to us. Don't forget to share it with your friends and loved ones and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a new story. So sit back and relax as we dive into the story. His business partners wanted more money and more control of his company. He pushed his foot down on the gas pedal, making his black expensive car go faster through the empty night streets. Thunder boomed in the sky. The windshield wipers moved back and forth quickly, but they could not clear all the rain. Marcus's mind was far away, thinking about money and arguments and the big lonely house waiting for him. He had so much money. He owned many cars and houses. People respected him everywhere he went. But inside he felt empty and alone. Then through the heavy rain he saw her. A young woman stood by the side of the road, her clothes completely wet, waving her arms for help. Her old broken car sat nearby with smoke coming from it. Marcus barely saw her face before his foot slammed hard on the brake pedal. But the road was covered in water and very slippery. The car slid sideways. The tires made a loud screaming sound. Everything happened very slowly and very fast at the same time. The woman turned around, her eyes huge with fear. Marcus turned the wheel as hard as he could, but it was too late. There was a terrible loud thump. His car stopped suddenly. For a few seconds Marcus could not move at all. His heart beat so fast and so loud he could hear it in his ears. Then he understood what had just happened. He threw open the car door and fell out into the storm. She was lying on the wet road, her body bent in a strange way. Blood mixed with the rainwater, spreading around her on the ground. Her eyes were shut. She was not moving at all. No. Marcus dropped down on his knees next to her, his expensive suit getting soaked immediately. He put his shaking fingers on her neck, trying to find a heartbeat. There, very soft, but yes, it was there. Please wake up. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Her face looked young and calm even with the blood on the side of her head. She looked like she was just sleeping peacefully. But she was not sleeping. She was dying because of what he did. Marcus lifted her up in his arms. She was much lighter than he thought she would be, delicate and small. He carried her to his car and laid her very gently on the back seat. His hands were covered in her blood now. He drove like a crazy person to the nearest hospital, going through red lights, honking his horn loudly through the storm. The rain came down even harder, like the sky was crying too. When he finally rushed into the hospital entrance, doctors and nurses ran out with a rolling bed. They took her from his arms and hurried through the big doors that closed behind them. Marcus stood alone in the pouring rain, blood on his hands and clothes. Would she live? And if she did survive, how could he ever fix what he had done? Marcus sat in the hospital waiting room for hours. His wet clothes dripped water onto the floor. His expensive watch said it was 3 in the morning, but he did not care about time anymore. Nurses walked past him quickly, their shoes making squeaking sounds on the clean white floor. Doctors talked in low voices behind closed doors. Every time someone came out, Marcus jumped up, hoping for news. Finally, a tired doctor came toward him. Are you the one who brought in the young woman from the car accident? Yes. Is she okay? Please tell me she is okay. Marcus grabbed the doctor's arm, his voice shaking. The doctor pulled his arm away gently. She is alive, but she hit her head very hard. We had to do surgery to stop the bleeding in her brain. She is sleeping now, but we do not know when she will wake up. It could be hours or days or even weeks. Marcus felt his legs go weak. Can I see her? Please, I need to see her. The doctor looked at him with tired eyes. You can see her, but only for a few minutes. Room 207, second floor. Marcus ran to the elevator and pressed the button many times. When he finally reached her room, he pushed the door open slowly. The room was quiet except for the beeping sound of machines. She lay in the white hospital bed, looking small and fragile. Bandages wrapped around her head. Tubes connected her arms to bags of clear liquid hanging above the bed. He pulled a chair close to her bed and sat down. For the first time in many years, Marcus felt tears on his face. I am so sorry, he whispered. I was not paying attention. I was thinking about stupid business problems and money. Now look what I have done to you. He stayed there all night, watching her breathe. As the sun came up through the window, Marcus made a decision. He would pay for everything, all the hospital bills, all the medicine, everything she needed. He would stay until she woke up. It was the least he could do. Days passed like this. Marcus came to the hospital every morning and stayed until night. His assistant brought him clean clothes and food, but he barely ate. His business partners called him angry and confused, wondering where he was. Marcus did not care anymore. Nothing seemed important except this girl whose name he did not even know. On the 5th day, a nurse told him they found her purse near the accident. Her name was Emma. Emma Williams. She was 24 years old and worked at a small bakery across town. She had no family listed in her wallet, just a photo of her smiling with an older woman. Marcus held the photo carefully. Emma's smile in the picture was bright and full of life. She looked so happy. What had he taken from her? On the 7th day something changed. Marcus was reading a book out loud to her. The nurse said talking might help, when Emma's fingers moved slightly. Then her eyelids fluttered like butterfly wings. Emma? Emma, can you hear me? Marcus leaned forward, his heart pounding with hope and fear. Her eyes opened slowly, confused and unfocused. She looked around the white room at the machines, at the bandages on her arms. Then her eyes landed on Marcus's face. And she smiled. Noah, she whispered, her voice rough and quiet. You came back. Marcus froze completely. His mouth opened but no words came out. Noah? Who was Noah? Emma reached out her hand toward him, tears filling her eyes. I knew you would come back to me. I waited so long. Everyone said you were gone forever, but I knew. I always knew. Marcus looked at her confused face, at the hope shining in her eyes, at the way she looked at him like he was the most important person in the world. His mind raced. She thought he was someone else. Someone named Noah. Someone she clearly loved very much. He should tell her the truth right now. He should say, I am not Noah. I am Marcus, the man who hit you with his car. But when he opened his mouth, different words came out. I am here now, he said softly, taking her hand. What was he doing? This was wrong. This was a terrible lie. But seeing her smile, seeing the peace on her face after so many days of worry, Marcus could not bring himself to break her heart with the truth. Not yet. Not when she was still so weak and hurt. My head hurts so much, Emma said, touching the bandages carefully. What happened to me? Marcus swallowed hard. You had an accident. You hit your head badly. But you are safe now. The doctors say you will get better. Emma nodded slowly, then winced from the pain. Will you stay with me, Noah? I am scared. I will stay, Marcus promised. I will stay as long as you need me. The doctor came in soon after and checked Emma carefully. When Marcus stepped outside with him, the doctor spoke in a serious voice. She has what we call temporary memory confusion. The injury to her brain has made some of her memories mixed up. She might not remember the accident at all. This could last days or weeks. We cannot be sure. What should I do? Marcus asked, guilt eating at his insides like a monster. Be patient with her. Do not push her to remember things. Let her brain heal naturally. The doctor looked at him strangely. She called you Noah. Is that not your name? Marcus looked down at his expensive shoes. It is complicated. Over the next 2 weeks, Marcus visited Emma every single day. At first, he told himself he would correct her mistake soon as she got a little stronger. But Emma was so happy to see him each time. She held his hand and told him stories about their past, a past that belonged to someone else entirely. Remember when we used to walk by the river on Sundays? She would say, her eyes distant and dreamy. You always bought me flowers from that old woman at the corner. Yellow roses because you said they matched my smile. Marcus listened to every story, his heart breaking a little more each time. This Noah person had loved her deeply, and she had loved him back. But something had happened. Noah had left or disappeared, and Emma had been heartbroken. Now she thought Noah had finally returned to her. Marcus learned everything about Emma during those visits. She loved to paint and draw. She worked hard at the bakery to save money for art supplies. She dreamed of opening a small art school someday to teach children. She believed in kindness and second chances. She saw beauty in simple things, a pretty sunset, fresh bread, rain on windows. And slowly, without meaning to, Marcus started to fall in love with her. It was not just guilt anymore. Emma made him laugh with her silly jokes. She asked him questions about his day and actually listened to the answers. 3 weeks after the accident, Emma was strong enough to leave the hospital. Marcus had paid for everything, the surgery, the medicine, the private room, without telling her. He simply said the hospital had a special program for accident victims. Emma believed him because she trusted him completely. Where will I go? Emma asked as a nurse helped her into a wheelchair. I cannot remember where I live, Noah. Everything is so fuzzy in my head. Marcus had already thought about this. He could not let her go back to her old life alone, not when she was still so confused and weak. You will stay with me, he said firmly. I have plenty of space and you need someone to take care of you while you heal. Emma's face lit up with pure joy. Really? We can finally be together like we always dreamed. The guilt stabbed at Marcus's heart like a knife, but he pushed it down deep. Yes, he lied again. Just like we dreamed. He took her to his huge mansion and Emma gasped when she saw it. Noah, this place is like a palace. How did you afford this? Marcus realized he had made a mistake. The real Noah was probably not a billionaire. I worked very hard while I was away. I wanted to build a good life for us. Emma hugged him tight and Marcus felt like the worst person in the world. But he also felt something else, happiness. Having Emma in his big empty house made it feel like a home for the first time ever. The days turned into weeks and Marcus watched Emma grow stronger. She walked through his garden every morning, touching the flowers gently and smiling at the birds. She painted pictures on the back porch, her tongue sticking out slightly when she concentrated hard. She cooked simple meals in his giant kitchen and laughed when they turned out badly. I am not a very good cook, she admitted one evening, looking at the burned rice. But you always said you loved me anyway, even with all my faults. Marcus smiled, but inside he felt sick with guilt. I do, he said, and he meant it. He did love her, even though she did not really know who he was. Emma taught him things he had forgotten. How to slow down and enjoy a quiet morning. How to really look at a sunset instead of just glancing at it. How to laugh at silly things. How to care about someone else more than money or business or success. One rainy evening, they sat together on the couch watching the storm through the big windows. Emma rested her head on Marcus's shoulder. I love the rain now, she said softly. I used to be scared of it, but now it feels peaceful. Like the world is washing itself clean. Marcus stiffened. Then, the accident had happened in the rain. Did she remember something? Why were you scared of rain before? He asked carefully. Emma frowned, thinking hard. I do not know. I just have this feeling, like something bad happened in the rain once. But I cannot remember what. She shook her head. My memories are still so mixed up, Noah. Sometimes I feel like I am forgetting something very important. Do not worry about it, Marcus said quickly, pulling her closer. Your memories will come back when they are ready. The doctor said not to force it. But Marcus knew the truth could not stay hidden forever. Every day he woke up terrified that this would be the day Emma remembered everything. The accident, the lies, who he really was. Every day he told himself he would tell her the truth soon. But every day when he saw her smile at him with complete trust and love, he stayed quiet. His assistant noticed the change in him. Sir, you have missed 15 important meetings. Your partners are very angry. They say if you do not come back to work soon, they will. I do not care, Marcus interrupted. 2 months had passed since the accident. Marcus's life had completely changed. He worked from home now, spending every free moment with Emma. She had made his cold, empty mansion feel warm and alive. Her paintings hung on the walls. Her laughter echoed through the hallways. Her kindness had melted the ice around his heart. One Saturday morning, Emma woke up earlier than usual. Marcus found her sitting in the garden, staring at nothing, her face pale and troubled. What is wrong? He asked, sitting beside her on the bench. Emma turned to look at him, and something in her eyes made his blood run cold. I had a dream last night, she said slowly. A terrible dream about rain and lights and pain. And in the dream you were not Noah. You were someone else. A stranger. Marcus's heart stopped. It was just a bad dream. You are still healing. No. Emma stood up quickly, backing away from him. It was not just a dream. I've been having these flashes, these feelings that something is wrong. Little things that do not make sense. You do not remember the same stories I do. You call me by my name instead of the nickname Noah always used. You live in this huge house, but Noah was a simple man who worked at the docks. Emma, please. Marcus reached for her hand, but she pulled away. Tell me the truth, Emma demanded, her voice shaking. Who are you really? Marcus felt everything crashing down around him. The lies, the guilt, the fear he had carried for months, it all became too heavy to hold anymore. My name is Marcus Bennett, he said, his voice breaking. I'm not Noah. I never was. Emma stumbled backward like he had hit her. What? The night of the accident, you were standing by your broken car in the rain. I was driving too fast, not paying attention. I hit you with my car. When you woke up in the hospital, you called me Noah. You thought I was him. And I did not correct you. I let you believe the lie because I felt so guilty. Because I did not want to hurt you more than I already had. The color drained from Emma's face completely. She wrapped her arms around herself like she was trying to hold her body together. You hit me? You are the reason I was in the hospital? The reason I almost died. Yes, Marcus whispered, tears streaming down his face now. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And you lied to me for 2 months? Emma's voice got louder, angrier. You let me think you were the man I loved? You let me trust you, care about you, when all along you were lying to my face every single day? I was going to tell you. When? Emma screamed. When were you going to tell me? After another month? Another year? Never? She grabbed her head, wincing in pain. Everything has been a lie. Every moment, every conversation, Her voice broke into sobs. I trusted you completely. I thought you were my Noah come back to me. But you were just the man who almost killed me playing pretend. It was not pretend. Marcus cried. My feelings for you are real. I love you, Emma. I truly love you. Do not say that. Emma backed further away, looking at him like he was a monster. You do not love me. You cannot love someone and lie to them like this. You took away my choice. You let me live in a fantasy while the real world was something completely different. That is not love. That is cruelty. Emma left that same day, taking nothing with her except the clothes on her back. Marcus begged her to stay, begged her to let him explain more, begged for just one more chance. But Emma would not even look at him. She called a taxi and disappeared through the gate, leaving Marcus alone in his big empty mansion once again. The weeks after Emma left were the darkest of Marcus's life. He could not eat or sleep. He could not focus on work. Every room in his house reminded him of her. Her paintings on the walls, her favorite chair by the window, the garden where they had talked for hours. He had hurt her twice. Once with his car and once with his lies. How could he ever make that right? Marcus tried to find her, but Emma had disappeared completely. She did not go back to her old job at the bakery. She did not answer any of the messages he sent. It was like she had vanished into thin air, and maybe that was what he deserved. 6 months passed slowly, painfully. Then one cold evening, Marcus's assistant brought him some papers to sign. In the pile was a newspaper article about a new art therapy center opening across town. The center helped people who had been through difficult times express their pain through painting and drawing. And there in the photo was Emma. She looked different, stronger somehow, more confident. Her smile was not as bright as before, but there was peace in her eyes. The article said she had started the center to help others heal, just like art had helped her heal from her own trauma. Marcus's hands shook as he read every word. Emma had taken her pain and turned it into something beautiful, something that helped other people. She had not let what happened destroy her. She had become even stronger. He wanted to run to her immediately to beg for forgiveness again. But he stopped himself. Emma did not need him barging back into her life, making everything about his guilt and his feelings again. What she needed was for him to actually change, to actually become the kind of man who deserved a second chance. So Marcus did something different. He made a huge donation to Emma's art center, but he did it anonymously. He did not want credit or thanks. He just wanted to help her dream come true. He started volunteering at other community centers, spending time with people who had nothing, learning to care about others more than himself. He went to therapy to understand why he had lied for so long instead of facing the truth. Slowly, Marcus became a different person. Not the cold, distant billionaire who only cared about money and success. But someone kinder, someone better, someone who understood that real strength meant admitting your mistakes and working hard to fix them. A full year after Emma had left, Marcus finally gathered the courage to visit her art center. It was a sunny afternoon, and the building was filled with laughter and music and the smell of fresh paint. Children ran around with colorful hands. Adults bent over canvases, creating beauty from their pain. And there was Emma helping a young girl mix colors on a palette. Marcus stood in the doorway, afraid to move closer. But Emma looked up and saw him. For a long moment they just stared at each other across the room. Marcus saw surprise in her eyes, then caution, then something else, something softer. Emma said something to the little girl and walked slowly toward Marcus. They stepped outside into the sunshine together. "Hello, Marcus," Emma said quietly. It was the first time she had ever called him by his real name. "Hello, Emma." Marcus's voice shook. "I'm sorry for coming here. I wanted to see that you were okay. And you are. You are more than okay. What you have built here is amazing." Emma smiled slightly. "Thank you. It saved my life, honestly. After I left your house, I was so angry and hurt and lost. But I started painting again, really painting, and it helped me process everything. Then I thought if art helped me heal, maybe it could help others too." "You are incredible," Marcus said honestly. "I mean that. What I did to you, Both the accident and the lies, it was unforgivable. But you took that pain and made something beautiful. You are stronger than anyone I have ever met. Emma looked at him carefully, really studying his face. You look different too. Less tired. More at peace somehow. I have been trying to change, Marcus admitted. To become someone better. Someone who actually deserves good things instead of just buying them. I know I can never take back what I did. But I hope someday you can forgive me. Thunder rumbled in the distance. Dark clouds rolled across the sky and suddenly rain began to fall, soft and gentle, not angry like the storm that night a year ago. Emma looked up at the rain, then back at Marcus. I was so angry at you for so long, she said. But staying angry was making me sick inside. So I chose to forgive you, not because you earned it, but because I needed to let go of the hate. Forgiveness set me free. Tears ran down Marcus's face, mixing with the rain. Thank you, he whispered. That is more than I deserve. Emma reached out and took his hand gently. Maybe we both deserve a second chance. A real one this time, built on truth. They stood together in the rain, not as Noah and Emma, not as victim and the man who hurt her, but as two broken people who had found healing. The storm had brought them together in tragedy, but maybe, just maybe, it could also bring them together in hope. Sometimes the worst mistakes lead us to become our best selves. And sometimes, forgiveness really can rewrite destiny. We've come to the end of today's story, and I hope it touched your heart. Thank you for watching, and remember to subscribe for more powerful and inspiring stories. See you in the next one.